John Lennon will always be remembered as a musical genius, but the Beatles star had a far darker side that has frightened his followers over the years. The singer captivated people all around the world as a member of the Fab Four, but it portrays a totally different picture of a guy who has a history of verbal and physical violence. He was known to be an aggressive person in general, especially when he was younger, and fans of the Beatles are well aware of Lennon's controversial sense of humor and his history of violence. Lennon had also been physically abusive to his former wife Cynthia Powell, and even wrote about it in a song Getting Better. He didn't hide his attitude toward hitting women. In fact, he publicly confessed it in a 1980 interview with Playboy, saying that his previous acts of violence inspired his later calls for peace and love. He said, "All that I used to be cruel to my woman, I beat her and kept her apart from the things that she loved was me. I used to be cruel to my woman and physically any woman. I was a hitter. I couldn't express myself and I hit. I fought men and I hit women, but I sincerely believe in love and peace. I am a violent man who has learned not to be violent and regrets his violence. I will have to be a lot older before I can face in public how I treated women as a youngster." Clearly, he did not get much better after that song was released, because 6 years later, according to May Pang, John Lennon allegedly tried to strangle her. May Pang was John's girlfriend for about 18 months in the mid-70s. In her book, Loving John, she describes a night where John was extremely drunk and attempted to strangle her when he perceived that she was trying to cut him off from drinking. May says she believes Harry Nilsson saved her life that night by pulling John off of her. May Pang wrote in her book saying, "When we got back to the hotel, Harry said, 'Let's take a jacuzzi,' and as usual, following his lead, we changed into our bathing suits. When we met at the jacuzzi, we found that Harry had brought a bottle of liquor with him, despite the fact that we were supposed to be drying out. 'To our health,' he said, took a slug, and passed the bottle around. John took a drink. 'Have another one,' Harry told John. 'John's had enough,' I said. John looked at me and frowned. He was having fun and did not want me to interfere with it. Harry gave John the bottle, and John took another gulp. Half the bottle was gone before Harry said, 'Now it's time for the jacuzzi.' He got into the water. So did John. As he was about to pass John the bottle, I slipped in between them. My intent was not to stop John from getting the bottle, but it appeared that way to him. He turned and looked at me, a hurt expression on his face. He was drunk and looked very confused. Slowly he reached out, put his hands around my throat, and proceeded to strangle me. As his hands closed tighter, I screamed and tried to pull away, but he was incredibly strong. Everything froze. It seemed as if no one could believe what they were witnessing. It couldn't have been more than a few seconds, but it seemed an eternity with John's hands around my neck. Harry snapped to life and pulled John off me. I must say, I believe Harry Nilsson saved my life that night. John also destroyed a necklace that May considered her most important possession. John Lennon was a very upset guy for his entire life story, and the experience with the Beatles did not make him happy and increased his madness and rebellion. He only found peace with himself in those 5 years that he retired from the industry. When he wanted to return in 1980, creatively renewed and with his healthier version, the man who created many people's favorite band was murdered.
Hello.
That was Ringo, folks.
Well, what can I say?
And goodbye
You
from
know.
all of us.
Well, this is Ringo. Everyone seems to have said everything here, so I'll just sign off by saying cheerio and best of luck from the Beatles.